Today I'm going to show you how to turn a big box out of green wood. There's very little difference between turning a big box like this kitchen canister we're going to turn, or a small box out of green wood. The process and steps are the same. If you're interested, keep watching. Hi y'all, my name is Mike Peace and I'm passionate about wood turning, and I want to show you tips, tricks, and techniques to make you a better wood turner. So if this is what you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. So we're going to turn this out of green wood, then we're going to let it dry for some period of time, and then we're going to return it into its final shape. Although this is a big spindle, I'm going to use a bowl gouge because it's very strong until I kind of knock the edges off. Turn it up until the lathe starts quivering. Alright, it's about 600. That's probably as fast as I can go for the time being. Brace this. You gotta clamp that tool wrist down a lot of leverage. Okay, I've tried to clean up the ends just a little bit on both sides. It's very, very rough, but now still got a flat, but now I should be able to turn the speed up to about 800. Okay, about 830 and I begin to feel a little bit of vibration. So back to roughing it out. Okay, now we've got a large, still somewhat rough cylinder, but we can pick up speed probably to 1,000. And I can use a spindle roughing gouge to get it round from here on out. So let's do that. Again, bracing it on my hip. It's up to about 1,000. Fast as I want to go with this. Okay, this is a block of Bradford Pear I've roughed round. I'm going to turn into a couple of lidded kitchen canisters. And I'm just going to, I've got, let me see if I can show you a little bit better. Just got a little bit down in there, and I'm too thick to twist off. So I'm just going to cut it off with a pruning saw, which works pretty well for such things. And there we go. In its essence, this kitchen canister is like a large spindled box, and I'm going to rough turn it just like I would a smaller box, and I'm going to concave. I've reversed it in a chuck with a tenon on the other end, and now I'm going to go ahead and concave this tenon just a little bit to kind of reduce the bulk and allow not to have it too thick there while it's drying. Okay, by removing that tailstock damage, I'm able to use this entire block for the base. So I mark the top, what'll be the lid, what'll be the base. I could part this off on the lathe. This is a big block of wood, and I'd lose a lot to be able to allow that clearance to go all the way down in there. So frankly, I'm going to use a jig and cut this on a bandsaw. Okay, I've squared this up in a V block. I put a little level here to make sure it's level, since it wasn't rubbing on the bottom, and that's what this little brace is for. So now I'm simply going to turn on the dust collector and cut it off. Okay, I've rechucked the lid. Let me turn the light on here. I've rechucked the lid, and we're going to go ahead and rough hollow it and give it about, leave it at least 10%. So this is about, I think, 7 inches. Let's see, maybe 6 inches, 5.5 inches. So I want to leave it about 5/8 of an inch wall thickness to allow for some movement. I'm going to, again, do this similar to the way I would a box. I'm just going to use a spindle gouge, in this case a 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to sweep from the center. First, we'll drill a little depth hole here. Didn't quite get it on the center. Alright. We don't want to get this any deeper than, oh, let's say, it looks like 3/4 of an inch. I've got another 1/4 of an inch to go here. I'm going to use a large square scraper I made in an earlier video. If you didn't catch that, I made this for less than 10 bucks. I'm just going to come in here, come right down the wall. And I'm going to clean up the bottom a little bit. Even though this is green and it's going to have to dry some, I might as well get it as clean as I can get it. Just lock my arm on it. Negative rake. Turn it down a little bit. And I didn't cut that on that jig exactly flush, so I'm going to go ahead and try to square it up a little bit. Raise this up just a little bit closer. Again, negative rake. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I think I'll take a detail gouge, just kind of trim the corners off. Kind of reduce the chances of cracking while it's drying. Do that on the back side as well. Just a little bit of transfer in there. Okay. Okay, as with the lid, this is not quite square, it's canted a little bit, so let me go ahead and true this up on the face. And we're just going to do that by coming in like this. Alright, now since we're going to do a lot of hollowing, I'm going to start this process off with a drill bit that will make it a little bit simpler. Wouldn't be necessary for a box. Still got a little more cleanup to go. But for something this big, I think having this 1-inch drill bit will help. Again, let's measure it. I don't want to go any deeper than about 4.5 inches. 4.5 inches is well, an inch past this mark right here. Slow the speed down to maybe 400. We're just going to let it find the center. I'm not drilling more than about 3/4 of an inch before I extract it. Okay, we got allowed room here for the tenon that's going to fit into the lid, so that's about 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit less. And then we want to give ourselves a little bit of room for the thickness of that tenon. So we're going to move in just about 1 inch, and that's as far as we're going to hollow. Is that part right there. Now we got several different hollowing techniques we can use. I think I'm going to start off by just using the square end scraper and just go right down the middle, taking a little bit at a time. Let's see how that works. About 1,000. I want to cut right at center. Okay, and I don't want to take off more than maybe 1/8 of an inch. It's swerving off center a little bit. That's okay. Get what we can. We're just going for bulk removal right now. Okay, we're just going to come back down in here and do that again. And then after I go down a little bit, I might have to resort to a box rest. Okay. Alright, let's switch to a box rest so we get a little more support. Alright, now fact of the matter is, if you had a hollowing rig, that might be an easier way to do this. I have a hollowing rig, but I'm going to show you, for the folks that don't have one, that there are alternatives for something like this where you're just turning a big box and you're not having to undercut it or anything else. So now that I've got a little more support with that box tool rest, I can come back down here and take up the challenge of picking it up again. Let me go sharpen this and come back. Now for this kind of work you want a minimum of a 5-to-1 leverage. This handle, this is a pretty long handle, 15 inches. And so if I'm not extending, and then I've got this additional tool, so as long as I'm not extending more than probably a couple of inches off the end there, I'm in real good shape. Alright, let's get my compressor and blow this out. Now I've got a nickel scraper here. I'm going to come in and just get, handle's not as long, I'm just going to come in and get some of that wall thickness out a little bit.